betrayal, deception, and a shocking claim that has the church world buzzing. Bishop Henry Fernandez has come forward saying he was set up, and the name tied to this betrayal is none other than Bishop Joel Tudman. How did two respected leaders go from pulpit partners to public enemies? And what really happened behind closed doors? Stay tuned, because this story is about to shake everything you thought you knew about loyalty, leadership, and trust within the church. Church scandals have always sparked headlines, but this one hits differently. When a bishop as influential as Henry Fernandez claims he was set up, people take notice. And when the alleged betrayal involves Bishop Joel Tudman, a man once considered an ally and brother in Christ, the controversy becomes impossible to ignore. In this video, we're diving deep into the shocking rift that has shaken the faith community. We'll uncover how Fernandez and Tudman went from walking the same path to standing on opposite sides of a spiritual battlefield. Was this really a misunderstanding? Or is there something far darker at play? Power struggles, hidden agendas, and the painful reality of betrayal among church leaders. You're going to hear the backstory, the timeline of events that led to this fallout, and the statements, both public and whispered, that suggest this isn't just about personal conflict, but about influence, money, and the future direction of the modern church. And let me warn you, what you're about to discover might change the way you see these leaders forever. So don't click away, because the deeper we go, the more shocking it gets. By the end of this video, you'll be asking yourself, who really set up who? Before the scandal, Bishop Henry Fernandez and Bishop Joel Tudman were seen as a united front. Two powerful voices in the church world, working together to inspire, uplift, and lead thousands of believers. Their partnership wasn't just professional, it was personal. They were photographed at conferences, speaking at the same pulpits, and collaborating on initiatives that promised to transform the local and global church community. To outsiders, their friendship seemed unbreakable, a model of unity, mentorship, and spiritual alignment. Fernandez, known for his dynamic sermons and unwavering devotion, often credited Tudman as a trusted advisor and spiritual brother. Tudman, in turn, praised Fernandez for his vision and leadership, painting a picture of mutual respect that reassured their congregations. Social media was full of photos showing smiles, handshakes, and public endorsements, moments that conveyed trust, partnership, and faith-driven teamwork. But behind the scenes, sources now reveal cracks that were not visible to the public eye. Minor disagreements about church direction, financial decisions, and leadership roles began to fester. What started as healthy debates reportedly escalated into tension over influence and control. Fernandez, who had always been cautious about publicly addressing conflicts, remained silent, until recent events forced him to speak out. This is where it gets interesting. Friends and insiders who once witnessed their camaraderie are now asking the same question everyone is asking. How did two men who seemed inseparable end up in a bitter confrontation that shook the gospel community? But here's the shocking part they don't want you to know. According to multiple sources, the seeds of this betrayal were planted years before the public feud even began. In fact, some of the earliest signs were dismissed as minor disagreements. Yet they would later explode into full-blown accusations and claims of being set up. In the next section, we'll uncover the exact moments when trust began to fracture, including confidential meetings, financial disputes, and secret communications that changed everything. You won't believe the twists that led to what Fernandez is calling the ultimate betrayal. The turning point came quietly at first, almost imperceptibly. Behind closed doors, Fernandez and Tudman's conversations, once warm and collaborative, began to feel strained. Sources indicate that disagreements over leadership decisions and the direction of key church initiatives began to create tension. What made it worse was that these disagreements were not confined to private discussions. They started leaking into the broader church community, subtly undermining the foundation of trust both leaders had built over decades. Then came the incident Fernandez calls the setup. According to insiders, there was a high-stakes meeting involving major donors and influential church leaders. Fernandez believed it was a routine discussion to align ministry goals, but he alleges that Tudman manipulated the situation, painting him in a negative light to key stakeholders. Suddenly, what was meant to be a collaborative effort turned into a public and private questioning of Fernandez's leadership. Eyewitnesses report seeing Tudman position himself as the voice of reason while subtly casting doubt on Fernandez's decisions. Some insiders claim that confidential communications were selectively shared to influence opinions and sway leadership boards. Fernandez, who had trusted Tudman implicitly, says he felt blindsided, trapped in a web of deceit orchestrated by someone he once considered a brother in faith. Church members who were close to both leaders described the fallout as immediate and intense. Rumors spread like wildfire, and social media became a battlefield. Posts, videos, and statements were scrutinized, dissected, and debated. Followers of both leaders were confused, torn between loyalty and skepticism. The narrative quickly escalated from a private disagreement to a public spectacle, with Fernandez taking to his platform to assert that he had been set up, while Tudman remained largely silent, allowing speculation to flourish. But here's the part that's even more shocking. Sources suggest this wasn't just a personal conflict. There were allegedly strategic moves made to control influence, redirect ministry funds, and reshape leadership structures. Moves that some insiders call calculated and deceptive. This wasn't simply two friends disagreeing, it was a full-blown power struggle hidden behind the guise of spiritual leadership. In the next section, we'll examine the evidence Fernandez presented, including emails, testimonies, and public statements, to see why he insists this betrayal was orchestrated. And you won't believe some of the names and organizations quietly pulled into this controversy, making it one of the most talked about disputes in modern church history. As the controversy unfolded, Bishop Henry Fernandez knew he had to provide proof. Simply claiming betrayal wouldn't be enough, especially when the stakes involved the reputation of two prominent church leaders and the trust of thousands of followers. Fernandez reportedly began compiling evidence, emails, private messages, and testimonies from staff and insiders who had witnessed key moments of the alleged setup. The emails, according to sources, paint a picture of manipulation. Messages that were meant to coordinate ministry work were allegedly edited or misrepresented, creating misunderstandings that favored Tudman's narrative. Private communications reportedly show attempts to sway board members and influential donors, subtly undermining Fernandez while portraying Tudman as the voice of reason. These documents, combined with eyewitness accounts, form the backbone of Fernandez's claim that this was a deliberate and premeditated act of betrayal. Public reaction to Fernandez's revelations was immediate and explosive. Social media platforms erupted with debates. Supporters of Fernandez praised his courage to speak out, calling it a long overdue exposure of deceit. Others expressed disbelief, defending Tudman and questioning Fernandez's motives, suggesting that pride or misunderstandings might have fueled the claims. Hashtags related to the controversy began trending, drawing attention not just from church members, but from a broader audience interested in scandals and leadership betrayals. Adding fuel to the fire, video clips of both leaders at past events resurfaced online. Observers scrutinized their body language, speeches, and interactions, attempting to identify early signs of tension. Some clips, previously thought to show unity, were now being interpreted as subtle indications of disagreement, moments that only hindsight could reveal as the beginning of a growing rift. But the controversy didn't stop there. Community leaders, ministry partners, and fellow bishops started weighing in publicly. Statements were issued, some carefully neutral, others clearly supportive of one side. The church world was polarized and congregations were divided. People who had attended joint events were confused, wondering how two leaders who preached unity could be embroiled in such a bitter conflict. And here's the shocking part that many aren't talking about. Some insiders suggest that financial mismanagement allegations were quietly surfacing alongside the betrayal claims. While Fernandez has not publicly confirmed this, whispers about redirected funds and influence over donor contributions added another layer of complexity, making the scandal not just about personal conflict, but about potential organizational consequences. As this story continues to unfold, one thing is clear: the fallout from this alleged betrayal is far-reaching. It's not just a clash between two bishops. It's a case study in trust, power, and leadership within faith-based communities. In the next section, we'll explore the emotional toll on Fernandez, the broader spiritual community, and what this feud might mean for the future of their ministries. Stay tuned, because the revelations coming next will show just how deep this betrayal goes and why it's sending shockwaves across the gospel world. While the emails, testimonies, and public statements drew attention, the human side of this controversy often gets overlooked. Behind the headlines, Bishop Henry Fernandez is reportedly grappling with a storm of emotions: anger, betrayal, disappointment, and the weight of trying to protect his ministry's integrity. Sources close to Fernandez describe late nights filled with reflection and prayer, attempting to navigate a situation that has shaken not only his public reputation, but his personal faith in those closest to him. This alleged betrayal doesn't just affect Fernandez, it ripples through the entire spiritual community connected to him. Congregants, longtime supporters, and ministry partners are reportedly struggling to reconcile what they believed about their leadership with the new, disturbing claims. Trust, once solid and foundational, has been called into question. Many church members are facing difficult choices: to continue supporting Fernandez, to side with Tudman, or to step back entirely from the ministry until clarity is provided. Experts in faith leadership suggest that incidents like this can have lasting spiritual consequences. A leader's credibility is intertwined with the congregation's sense of security and purpose. When that trust is shaken, communities can experience doubt, division, and disillusionment. In this case, insiders claim that prayer groups, advisory boards, and even regional church networks have been quietly discussing the fallout, assessing how the controversy might impact upcoming events, donations, and long-term ministry goals. Adding to the emotional weight, Fernandez reportedly reached out privately to key mentors and spiritual advisors, seeking guidance on how to respond publicly while maintaining his composure. The advice he received emphasizes transparency, faithfulness to truth, and the need to protect the flock from unnecessary harm. Yet, even with support, Fernandez is navigating a complex balancing act, defending himself, exposing what he calls deception, and maintaining his spiritual integrity in the eyes of the public. Social media, once a tool for engagement, has become a double-edged sword. Messages of support pour in, but so do waves of criticism, speculation, and sometimes outright attacks. Followers share opinions, analyze statements, and even speculate about motives, adding to the mental and emotional pressure Fernandez faces. The psychological toll, insiders say, is profound. This is not just a professional challenge, it's a deeply personal and spiritual ordeal. Meanwhile, Tudman's silence, or selective statements, has intensified the tension. Supporters and critics alike are left to interpret his actions, leading to rumors and heightened anxiety within the church community. The result is a widespread feeling of uncertainty, leaving many followers wondering what the future holds for both leaders and the ministries they shepherd. But here's the part that shocks even insiders. Some sources claim that this controversy has prompted other leaders within the gospel and broader church world to reassess alliances, partnerships, and their own internal protocols for leadership accountability. This isn't just an isolated event. It's sparking discussions that could reshape ministry leadership dynamics on a national scale.